Welcome to the Scoop with Dukes. I'm your host, Philip Dukes, aka Dukes D Scoop. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram at Dukes D Scoop. And make sure, if you don't do anything else, hit the like button. And then right after, hit the subscribe button. And then go hammer the notifications for sure. All right. This is a CU Flex, CU Scoop. We got to talk about Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter, one of the most prolific college football players of our generation, is going to the NFL draft. And earlier today, we get some news that he will be going to the combine as a cornerback. Well, there was a lot of debate as far as saying, why not be a wide receiver and go play corner, or why not play both? And I don't think the jury is all the way out on how Travis will be used. But in order to pique the interest of multiple teams, for him to go out and work in DB drills, I think you have the film you need wide receiver wise. Like, you know, he can catch the ball. You know, he's a contortionist with his body. He makes the contested catch easily. But I think that technique wise, and we'll get to that in a little bit, but I think that him being able to go out and compete with the best of the best, being able to go show up against a guy like Will Johnson and get some real comparison, I think that that's going to help him. So I think there was a method to why he chose to be a cornerback instead of a wide receiver. I think the fact that when you look at the receivers in the draft this year, who's like him, I don't think there's a receiver. I think, like, even with T Mac, bigger bodied receiver, but I think that as far as receivers like Travis Hunter in that same ilk body size, isn't a whole lot like him. But could be a comparison to him and Will Johnson. So I think that that can allow him to stand out some. Also, if he goes to work out at wide receiver, I mean, he literally won a Bolitnikoff. Now, he should have won a Thorpe, right? There's a ton of film, but I just think those defensive back specific drills show a lot more than what he would be able to show as a wide receiver, because there's always precedent for DBs going to the wide receiver spot, or guys who've primarily played defense going to get a carry or catch on offense, and you only have to that's a little more safe for teams, right? A wide receiver going to play DB, I think there's a lot more proving you have to do. I think the only time we've seen a wide receiver go play DB outside of like Julio Jones playing defensive back on a Hail Mary situation would probably be Troy Brown with the Patriots. And if you could think of another one, drop it in the comments. So I think that by being able to prove that he can be a cornerback one, you know that he has that wide receiver prowess in his back pocket. You know that your cornerback one is also a Bolitnikoff. And I think it's a lot easier for offenses to find packages for Travis than it would be for defenses to find packages for Travis. So what I mean by that is, if you have a corner and so if you're playing defensively, if you're playing on a perimeter, whether he's a slot corner, perimeter corner, either way, if when he's out there, he has to know at the whole defense. There isn't like, it's hard to put in just a package at corner, right? Even if you do put in a package, you still need to know what's going on with the defense, the total defensive scheme. You still need to know how you fit. You still need to know different fronts. You still need to know what to read. At wide receiver, if you have a DB going to play wide receiver, you can literally put in a play where all he needs to know is what he's doing. As long as we get a certain look, he's doing this. And you can literally put in 12 to 15 plays for Travis that either he's A, going to be the primary, B, he's going to be the decoy, or C, I mean, when I say primary on A, I mean the primary target. B, he's going to be the decoy, or C, he's just going to be the guy who gets a end around. Outside of that, you can script 15 plays for that, and you don't feel like you have a whole lot that you need to teach them, or there's a whole lot that needs to be proven. So I think this is a very smart decision for Travis to go out and show his DB prowess. There has been a lot of talk about, can Travis go both ways for an entire game? And I think this is the start of proving it. By being able to show that you can stand up in coverage all game long against the best of the best, by being able to show that you do have the short area burst, that you do have the ability, the agility, that you do have some stickiness in your coverage, I think that that's step one. Step two is going to be to continue to show during his workout his stamina levels. Does he fade? You know, I talked to a agent about when to run the 40 and when to do your shuttle drills and why they shut different players down. And they say, well, after you do the 40, you run the 40 a couple of times, and then you do like a gauntlet or you do other drills. By the time you get to the 3 cone, depending on the schedule, your legs are dead. So sometimes we sit out based on stamina. Well, if Travis goes through everything with this same trademark stamina that you've seen over the course of his career, that only lends to him being able to continue to keep that up on a professional level. And we all know it's unheard of. But what has he done has been heard of already. Travis, everything that he's done has shown that every time he's been challenged, he's met the challenge. Every time that someone says he won't be, every time someone said he won't be able to do this on the college level, he did it. When they said he won't be able to do that on the Power 4 level, he did it. When he was matched up with good receivers, he was able to be sticky in coverage. I mean, let's just go to the numbers. Travis Hunter, over 700 defensive snaps this year, and offensive, but 700 defensively. 400 over 400 coverage snaps. He graded out as a 90 in coverage. So I literally went to a one-on-one training with a member of Pro Football Focus's staff. And while I'm going through this training, and if you get the biggest, if you get the upgraded package that they have, it costs a ton of money. A lot of agents have it. It's a step down for what the schools have. I was able to get access from a buddy of mine, and they walk you through it one by one. And he literally said a 90 in Pro Football Focus is like 100 on a test. If you grade out a 90, like nobody, like that's literally like the top echelon. That's creme de la creme. It doesn't get any better. A 90 is like 100. So we see guys in the 70 range. That's like being a B. That's like an above average player. 60, is really like a 70. 50, that's really like a 60. That's like a little bit below average, but serviceable depending. Travis was a 90 in pass coverage, 88 overall, but a 90 in pass coverage. That means from everything that they saw, now we know that Pro Football Focus, they don't know the nuances of every defense, but they do know what they see. And when their scouts go out and they look, he looked to be almost perfect in coverage. 90% of the time, he was doing like the absolute best you could do. That's nothing to sneeze at. When you talk about being third overall in the country with your PFF grade, coverage grade, excuse me, and ninth in passer rating, you're talking about someone who has truly rare ball skills, to quote Bleacher Report. I mean, 7 interceptions, 17 passes defended over the last 2 years. After you've put up Bolitnikoff worthy numbers, like this ain't Heisman worthy numbers. There's nothing that tells me that Travis Hunter can't go both ways the whole time. When you talk about what makes him a good corner, there's a great Bleacher Report article that was done in December about the pros and cons of Travis Hunter, offensively and defensively. They have him listed, and this is what they say, and I quote, Hunter's awareness and vision are key assets, allowing him to read the quarterback's eyes and make plays on the ball in both man and zone coverage. A true ball hawk, He consistently turns into the receiver when the ball is in the air, using his strong hands to make contested catches. His ability to play both cornerback and wide receiver at a high level speaks to his versatility, and his physicality is on display when tackling, showing a strong understanding of situational football. Hold on, let's go a little further. Additionally, his high motor, elite conditioning, and effort make him a constant presence, contributing in the run game as well. Man, so you're talking about a corner. I heard awareness. I heard super strong hands. I heard becoming a receiver when the ball is in the air. I heard a high motor. That means he's going all day. And he's physical, a physical defensive back. He wants to jam you. He will come up and tackle. You remember the forced fumble? He has the physical tools, the mental acumen, and the competitive nature. He has the potential to be a game-changing defensive playmaker in the NFL. When you talk about someone who, and I feel like Travis Hunter can be what Ed Reed was to a defense. You had to be careful every time you saw Ed Reed. And I always wonder why we didn't see Ed Reed get offensive snaps the way that he returned those interceptions. But Travis Hunter is that Ed Reed-esque type guy at corner, where if he's in zone, you have to be careful. You have to know where he is because his awareness allows him, and we saw it time after time in Colorado, where he'll leave his man or he'll leave his zone. Once the ball is in the air and he know that his zone, his zone isn't a threat, he can go from deep third to middle third. He can go from far corner to from far quarter to inner quarter, and literally make a play where the quarterback had no idea that he was going to be in on. When you have guys that can do that, right, that allows him to be like a value add for scoring the football defensively. Guys like that get paid here. Game changing. As a wide receiver, he's a game breaker as well. Get him to the ball in short game. You can throw the ball to him over the top. But I think Travis's best attribute is contested catches at wide receiver. So if you know you have that at receiver, why not play him at DB? I'm in total agreement with this decision. I think it's a wonderful decision. I think it's and I think that because this is the thing that scouts worry about, right? And we're going to go to why some people don't feel like he should play cornerback. So here are the cons when it comes to, according to Bleacher Report, Travis Hunter playing corner. His inability to concentrate on one position made it hard for him to drill down on the intricacies and nuances of one particular spot. So basically what they're saying is the tutelage that those 700 snaps a game that he was taking on offense and the preparation was taken away from him working on his craft at one true position. But when you're a Martian, you don't have to do all of that, right? But I'm just playing devil's advocate, so we can make a fair assessment, right? While Hunter possesses exceptional athleticism and a high football IQ, there are areas of his game that need refinement to maximize his potential at the next level. Despite his impressive length and body control, the two-way star's cornerback technique remains somewhat raw. Not raw in the sense where he is sloppy. He simply relies on his athleticism to compensate for lapses in fundamentals, which could be exposed against top-level competition if not refined. I didn't hear anything in there that scares me away from Travis Hunter playing corner in the NFL, being a cornerback one. Why? Because first of all, every statement, every con was prefaced with despite a plus, despite his length and athleticism, despite his awareness, despite, his traits are so strong, you have to mention them before you even get to the point where you could potentially try to poke a hole in this game. And I don't think that Bleacher Report by any means is like, no, he can't do it. They literally, for the sake of the article, are going off of what they've heard people say. When you have those raw athletic skills, if you're raw enough to grade out as a 90 in pass coverage and you're raw and you're a student of the game, imagine when he gets that extra time and he's able to lock in on being a DB and he starts to refine his technique, because they didn't say he doesn't have technique. They literally said just refine it, make it better, go in, take small things, nitpick yourself. When I hear those type of terms, I think the sky's the limit. If that's the biggest con, jeez. Offensively, we know who Travis is. We know what he is. We know what he can be. We know what he's going to be. Depending on what team he goes to, let's say he goes to the Titans, you plug him in at CB1. You let him take his lumps. You feed him offensively gradually, right? In my opinion, you let him go in, you put him in starting corner, maybe he's CB2, right? To start. Maybe Travis Hunter starts as your weak side corner. Maybe put him on the boundary, right? And then, depending on the scheme, and I haven't done enough work on Tennessee's scheme defensively to know if they switch or if they keep guys static to where they are. But let's just say he starts at cornerback 2, which is usually the boundary. Okay, cool. And you give him a small cachet of plays on offense, maybe about 15 to start. And maybe he takes maybe 15 to 20 snaps a game offensively, which allows him the ability to get about 5 to 8 touches a game, possibly. Maybe a design run once a game. I think that's the avenue that you take in order to get Travis where he needs to be. And as the season progresses, you see him start to build confidence. As the season progresses on both sides of the ball, you see him get more comfortable. You see you see that very technique start to refine itself defensively. You give him some time to focus more on defense than offense. And then once you get that defense and he knows what he's doing and he's acclimated to the speed of the NFL game, then you start to give him more offensively. So I think by the end of his rookie year, you're looking at, and I think if you take that route, you're looking at the potential rookie of the year offensively and defensively. I mean, there's really a route for him to be gradually built up for his own sake. It's almost like quarterbacks. Quarterbacks are so important to the roster and to the success of a team as a whole that you have to bring them along slowly in some cases. You look at the success of a Michael Penix who was able to sit behind Kirk Cousins. You look at the success of a Jordan Love. You look at the success of even of Aaron Rodgers who was able to sit behind Brett Favre. You look at the success of a Pat Mahomes who was able to sit behind Alex Smith. You look at outer worldly talent and you say, if we do this right, we never have to do it again. If we allow him to develop in a way that's conducive to his learning, conducive to him picking up the speed of the game, we don't have to have him on offense right now in a full capacity, because that's how important defense is. By the time he starts to get defense where it needs to be, and he starts to pick up on nuances of being an NFL receiver, I think you're set up to see Travis Hunter be the most dominant player in the NFL for a long time, because nobody's impacting the game on both sides of the ball. There may be receivers better than him. There may be cornerbacks better than him, but there won't be a player who impacts both sides of the game the way he does. If you're the fifth best receiver in the league and the fifth best corner in the league, that has to make you the best player in the league, in my opinion. So, with all that being said, I think Travis and his team Shout out to Young Money. They made a great decision. And I think that you're going to see this pay very, very big dividends for Travis in the future. And we're looking forward to see how he performs at the Combine. I'll be in Indianapolis. I will be having some live reports. All right, man, that's my time. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Hey, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Continue to share, like, subscribe, hit the notifications. Check out the morning run. Check out Big Dog, Chico, and Unk Show. Check out You Tell Me with me and Uncle Neely. Check out the CU Scoop playlist. Check out the Auburn Scoop. And we got more and more coming. The Scoop with Dukes coming Tuesdays and Thursdays, Saturday night live. Hey, what a time to be alive. All right, man. Keep riding with me. I appreciate it. All right, I'm out.